What's up guys, Chasing Lamely here with episode number 4 of our F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, and in today's episode, as you can see very clearly on your screen, we're going to China, which is probably my favourite track on the F1 calendar, as we see the guys and girls at the team doing all their little bits of tinkering, getting us ready for the big Grand Prix that's coming up ahead. So we've got some activity on the timeline, got a few days, 8 days. We're going to throw in a whole bunch of things, a bit of a focus on the chassis department I think we put in, and durability is going in, and a whole bunch of stuff you can see on your screen now. I think I just decided to focus on filling up days rather than anything. Like, I didn't want to do the esports event because it doesn't really do anything for us long term. So I thought we'll work on durability, work on the chassis, we'll just focus on getting the guys at the factory happy, giving them a good time, giving them something to do, and we're also going to upgrade, or try and upgrade, I should say, bits of our car. So we're going for a rear downforce upgrade, a minor rear downforce upgrade, just to hopefully push us in the right direction. We're also going to have a go at getting ourselves a spark plug upgrade, but I believe we've maxed out the development on that side, so that didn't go quite as well as we hoped it would do. We're doing okay on the R&D chart. We're doing okay on the activity timeline, as you can see on your screen now. Things are looking forward, and we can start advancing and seeing if everything comes in. Hopefully it will. The ignition system came in, which is going to give us more power. We've got more durability. We've reached my birthday, and
new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car, ready for the next race weekend.
Jeff's happy that we've completed all our buildings. A whole bunch of stuff to carry on with. And I don't know why I stopped on the screen for so long, but feels like I probably should have edited better. We'll enjoy together some various scenes, because apparently editing is hard, and my brain was not in full power editing mode when we were doing this. So we're gonna test the aero by spraying some kind of weird high-powered air hose and using an industrial fan on the car. And now we can finally see what's going on with the R&D tree again. I don't know why this went in twice. I think I had to have a long think before I went and bought the spark plugs. That's what happened, I remember. It was a long think, and not that I forgot to edit that part of the video out. So here we go into just a little bit of activity midweek. That's louder than I thought it would be. I probably should have fixed that. Just a checkpoint challenge in the RB10. Easy pass, easy money, got us some acclaim, got us some money, more importantly. We got our weekly resources in, and all of our good chassis department stuff has come in, and now we can finally go to the race weekend in China, where hopefully we should be able to pick up a good result. Like I say, I've always run well in China. I don't know why. I know people hate this track. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it as a track. To drive, at least. Racing wise, it can be hit and miss.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
See, we've got choices here of Stroll, Gasly, Ocon and Raikkonen, and I know that with the update, Stroll we won't be able to catch, Gasly and Ocon probably can't catch, so I picked Raikkonen. It is the lowest acclaim we can get, but he's the one that's only going to be near to us.
Are you testing new components?
We are testing a lot of new components, but we're going to compliment the aero department, who I don't think have done anything coming into this race actually.
Well, that's everything.
But we need them to build our things, and that's the post-practice resource point screen. Tatiana really not pulling her weight, although we are just about to reach level 5 acclaim here, so we can in the next episode bring in that second sponsor, or the third sponsor I guess, which will very much help us as things go forward. Looking at the R&D tree, we're still 4th bottom, so 7th and 8th worst cars on the grid. I just thought I'd see if I could spend some resource points before we got through the weekend, and I think we did go for the energy store repositioning rate distribution that should come in before I guess Zandvoort. I think that's Zandvoort that comes in before. Probably should have paid more attention to that. We're by no means the best anywhere in the field, because they're 4th from bottom, which quick maths puts us at somewhere on the grid. 15th, 16th best cars on the grid. I had a little look at the ICE because I was becoming very aware that I didn't have the power in the car during practice. I was struggling to get through. I was struggling to get through some of the practice programs, so I thought maybe just have a quick check in there, see what things are looking like with all the engine components and things. That I decided, except I did the let's give it a try as we give it a try in quali, see where we end up, and that will inform what I decide to do about that, because it is starting to wear out. But not, at a point where you'd say dangerous. But we're going to go straight into quali 1. This is our first run. We're going to do the full lap because this was sort of my second inkling there was something not quite right with the car. Don't know why I paused it there. Might have been a sneeze. Who knows? But you can see nothing on this lap, even before the lap started. Nothing was going. I took the esports line there. I don't think that was deliberate. But nothing on this lap seemed to quite be coming together. Straight on the grass in turn 1. Just really, usually I can lap this track in my sleep, and I nail it pretty much all the time. But for some reason, this quali session, it just wouldn't come together for me. It refused to come together for me. At least on this first lap. So missed the apex there. Really came in a bit too tight there, but nice exit. Things look like they might improve a little bit. But then we come through this section here, we're drifting way off the line, way back onto the line, gone wide again, missed the apex there. It was not great at all. Missed another apex, and then, this being a double apex is missed the first apex and overcompensated coming back out the corner. It was, it's just a really untidy lap. Even here, lost the back end coming through into this chicane section, coming out into the sort of mini snail section that comes onto the back straight. And we didn't seem to have the car under control. I didn't seem to be able to get the car under control. The setup I'm using is a time trial setup, so it should be good over a single lap for single lap pace. But nothing about this lap felt good. We come into the final chicane here. And I've gone way too deep, braked way too late. Had to really, really work to turn it back in, and all that time lost there. We're going to come back through the final corner. We've taken out the cone on the corner, and just a really, really untidy lap. I really wasn't happy with that at all. You can see we're 4/10, nearly 5/10 off of George Russell on that first lap, but it just didn't work. So we went out for another lap. I think this may have been on the same set of tyres, actually. I think we went for a second lap on the same set of tyres. You can see we're already nearly 2/10 up as we come down the back straight. So it was definitely an untidy lap was the problem. It's not that the car couldn't handle it. 4/10 up as we come through the hairpin. Losing it a little bit as we go back across into the final corner, but we'll bring it back up into 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. Nearly 6/10 gained as we cross the line, and we're still a second off Carlos Sainz in 7th and behind Romain Grosjean. So we go out for a third lap, which I think is the second fresh set of tyres. You can see we're still trying to chase down Grosjean. We're in 18th as we come into the lap. We are still, just with fresh tyres and actually getting the lap dialed in this time. We've gained 3/10 as we come down the back straight. We're losing a little bit in a straight line, which I don't fully understand. Coming out 4/10 from the hairpin, gaining a lot of time in corners, which is weird because we're very much a power-based car. We're gaining a lot of time in corners. Must be doing some kind of neat cornering here. We're coming in nearly 4/10 gain, and that puts us into P15, which is the 5-minute marker comes up will put us safe. But you can see by the time we get back in, put a fresh set of boots on, we are back into 18th. We've got 2 and a bit minutes left in to finish our lap in quali. Come through the corner, we're nearly 3/10 up, losing time, gaining time, 3/10 up as we come through the final corner. I've maybe taken too much curb there, and we're going to come across the line. It's going to be a 2.5 gained. Where does that put us in the general order of things? It puts us in P17 to start the race. We're top of Q3 in terms of the elimination zone, but we are very much out, and you can see here the upshot of qualifying. No big shocks. Raikkonen qualifies behind us, which is a good win in the rivalry early doors, with Grosjean, Russell, Calderon and Latifi all going out. But we are still a clear second ahead of Tatiana, so she has a lot of work to put in for us. And yeah, I decided after that there was time to start taking engine components. I looked to move to the second column, and then I just thought, you know what, screw it. If we're going to take the penalties anyway, we may as well just get a new part to add to our list of parts, so we have options going forward, because we are going to have to sort of start chopping and changing through these parts, especially with things like Monaco coming up. So I thought, why not just take from the entire fresh column, take some new parts, take the massive grid penalty that's going to come with that. I even decided to take a new gearbox while I could, because, you know, if you're sitting on the back of the grid anyway, you may as well in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's get into the race.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony David. Tell me, Anthony, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the goes both ways, Crofty. You have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap, so always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
It's time to see stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Albon, Perez, Ricciardo, Sainz and Daniel Kvyat, Norris, Ocon, Pierre Gasly and Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Romain Grosjean and Lance Stroll. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Russell, Calderon, Latifi and the rookie. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
So no, your eyes didn't deceive you there. That is a 219 place grid penalty. You'll also see on the weather forecast for the session that we are expecting some rain towards the back end of the session, which really influenced my choice of tyre strategy, because I start off by thinking, should I start on hards? Should I see how far we can take hards to softs? Just so I can, when the rain comes, I know I've still got some grip left. But then I realised, it's only a 14 lap race, like we're doing 25% distance. So, it came to me that I should probably switch to the medium tyres, because the medium tyres will go a fair way into the Grand Prix if you need them to. If you really need to nurse them, you could take them all the way. I started fiddling, seeing what the best projected race time was, and it just occurred to me that it didn't matter, because either I was going to stay on the mediums until such time as I needed to switch to wets or inters, or I was going to switch to a set of softs and just try and kind of banzai the last few laps. So that was the strategy I ended up with. I haven't touched the fuel load for a change in this race, because it didn't make any sense to do it. I'm going to need all the rich mix I can. We've got a 22 place penalty now. But yeah, off the line, we're gonna follow Ant's advice and not push too hard into turn 1, because you can see starting on the inside of the pit wall side of the grid, there's really nowhere to go at this first corner, and you want to be on the outside, but obviously with cars outside you can't really get there until it's too late. So I sort of held back a bit and thought I'd push into the corner, see if I get on the outside of some people. You can see we've pushed up into 90th. The only car on the grid on medium tyres, I think, except for Valtteri Bottas, who is on pole, I think, off the top of my head. He's certainly at the front, as you'd expect Valtteri Bottas to be at this stage. Up the inside, coming to this corner here, very, very close to the yellow flag behind us. I wasn't entirely certain what the yellow flag was for. I think Lance Stroll may have had a moment trying to follow us through, but we're pushing up now into P18, and Romain Grosjean very much in our sights. We carry on through this first lap. It's a case of we can see Raikkonen. Raikkonen's kind of our benchmark. He's the guy we know we're going to be fighting with in this first race, or in this first race of our rivalry. I should say the fourth race of the season, of course. We come back into the went in a bit deep here. I tend to go in a bit deep on corners on the first lap, especially if I'm following people closely, because it reduces the risk that they're going to brake at odd moments and cause damage to the car. We check behind us to see how well we're clearing George Russell, and we're doing it just about as we come back down the big back straight for the first time. Grosjean is not close, but we've managed to dive bomb him. We've come up the inside as well, tried to take Raikkonen, tried to get a 2 and 1 out of the hairpin. So he was closer than I thought. Misremembered how this race actually went in post comms. We've dived up the inside there of Grosjean. And apologies for the lack of off-board replays, by the way. Today I completely forgot again in my haste to get this out in time for the Portuguese Grand Prix in real life, because you know, good for people discovering the series. I may have forgotten to record the replay just so I could get this edited out quickly and done. But we're chasing down Raikkonen now. We're onto lap 2. We're struggling to keep up with Raikkonen, and like I said, of the guys you can see again there my tactic of turning in late on the corner to try and avoid the back end. If I turned in with Raikkonen, I definitely would have rear-ended him. You can see again my kind of tactic of what's going on there. Got to learn to speak English again properly. Learning to speak English is always an issue in my videos, I've noticed that. But we're going to try and chase down Raikkonen now. It's kind of a fluctuating gap of between half a second and a second as we go through lap 2. You know, we're having a look, we're doing our best, we're trying to stick with him. For some reason on this year's game, Gio just has way more pace than Raikkonen, which I guess reflects real life. Raikkonen's probably not quite as fast as he used to be. Giovinazzi is proving to be a bit of a star in real life. Like I said, this has had the buff from the patch as well. So the Ferrari-powered cars are not as quick as they were, which is going to help us as well. The racing points are, generally speaking, quite fast. I don't know where Lance Stroll ended up so far back, apart from the grid penalty. I guess he probably qualified 9th or 10th. But yeah, he's not cutting through us like you'd think he would do. You'd think he'd have made short work of Russell and Grosjean by now, and I would be trying to defend against Lance Stroll. But I'm not. We've got DRS now, which is going to help us in our fight against Raikkonen, try and bring ourselves a bit closer. Really enjoy this first couple of corners here. Really enjoy the snail section. I know there's people who really hate it in real life, but I really enjoy it. It's a real challenge. If you get a good exit here, it can set you up for a really good lap, but a bad exit will set you up for a very bad lap as Grosjean starts really creeping up behind us there, gets himself within 2/10 of us. But we should start to pull away through the rest of the lap, and you can see we've got Raikkonen still close. We are not losing him at all at this stage in the Grand Prix. And if you're looking at your watch now thinking, are we going to go through the entire race with no edits? We aren't, I promise you. I will edit this race, though I have edited this race down to make it slightly more manageable and watchable, because we're in a fight for a lot of the race, to be honest. We were either defending against someone or we were racing someone, but you know, the back and forth kind of accordion effect that you get as racing is racing. You know, you don't want or need to see all of it. As you can see, as we come through onto the back straight, we are slowly losing Raikkonen. We're not in danger of getting into the DRS range at the moment, so it's just a case of bide our time, see how it goes, try and keep Grosjean at bay, which is easily done. Yeah, keep checking behind because I know Grosjean has DRS. I don't want to get surprised coming up the inside in the corner here. As we go into the hairpin, you know, it's Romain Grosjean. You've got to be careful when he's behind you. I mean, I'm sad that he's retiring in real life because we are really lacking in guys who can just be prone to moments of madness going into the new season. But you know, like I say, I'm aware Grosjean is very close behind us. We see the first few guys coming into the pits, including Lewis Hamilton, who's going to come out not far behind us. Grosjean definitely had a look up the inside going into turn 1 and thought better of it. He might have made some contact actually, I'm not entirely certain, but you can see we are starting to close off on Raikkonen as the delta between the wear on the softs and mediums starts to cross over. You know, hence the leaders being in. They've obviously qualified at the softs they started the race with. They're starting to lose grip, that's why they've come in, which means the guys ahead of us you think are only a lap or two away from being at a point where they need to start pulling in onto lap 5. So you know, just it's time to sort of be aware, be smart, play safe, try and push on, get past Raikkonen as fast as we can though, because we are into his DRS zone. I really do enjoy this lap. A lap of this track is
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
a lap of this track is a pleasure to ride. I can feel the car has improved a little bit with the upgrades as well. It took a little while to get used to. Rain in 10 minutes, says Jeff, which is you know, at this point in the race, I'm thinking that's really vindicated my decision to start on the mediums to see how far we can go until the rain comes. Because at this stage, we're doing 1 minute 30 laps, so 10 minutes is, you know, it's give or take 3.5 laps, 4 laps. And I've mathed that completely wrong. About 5 laps. About lap 9 or 10, you'd start expecting, as we make the pass on Kimi Räikkönen, a little bit too aggressive. We did make contact. I think we took his front wing off, but he was coming in anyway. So, very little harm done. Yeah, the Jeff saying that we rain in 10 minutes kind of made me think I've made the right choice. We'll push through to lap 9, lap 10, start seeing if any rain falls. So you'll see I do keep checking for updates. We got up into P5 through the pit cycles, a very abrupt edit there. I probably could have done better. Apologies for that. Hamilton is behind us though. He's 2 seconds behind us as we come through the next set of pit cycles onto lap 7. And you can see we've pushed up into lap 2. And you can see Valtteri Bottas as well ahead of us. Had to have started on the mediums. He must have started on the mediums to have a 20-second lead ahead of everyone else. He is far and away gone. There's no way I'm catching him. There's no way Lewis is going to catch him as he catches up behind me. But I thought, you know, we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll do a close battle where we can as Tatiana pits in. We'll do a close battle where we can with Lewis. We'll try and make ourselves a nuisance because, you know, if we can hold up a little bit, maybe it starts to concertina up everyone behind him, hold up as many cars as we can, slow down the field as we sort of head towards that pit window, because the more cars we can keep behind us, normally I wouldn't defend against a guy like Lewis Hamilton in this car. I know he's got the pace on me. I wouldn't try and defend. We're going to check for a weather report again, team radio.
Expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre.
And he was saying 10 minutes a couple of laps ago, and this is when I started thinking it was that weird weather dynamic thing kicking in where maybe it's not going to come at all. Maybe the rain is not going to come in China. And I started to worry a little bit. But like I said, I was determined to try and defend against Hamilton as best I can, to hold up as many cars behind me as best I can before I come in, because obviously if they have to pit again for wet tyres and I'm going to pit straight onto wet tyres, then they are still going to be behind me. I've got the track position, which means I'm not double stacking with anyone. Lewis would be obviously with Bottas, and I would have him within my sights if he had to pit, I think. As Lewis goes through, we did try and fight him through the hairpin, as you could see. But yeah, I messed up that first corner. If I hadn't messed up that first corner, I probably could have kept Lewis close and kept this battle going. But you're going to see we're going to very quickly, as you would imagine, very quickly lose Lewis Hamilton at this stage of the career mode, because we are nowhere near as good as he is on the R&D chart. He's just gone. He's a second away into a couple of corners in, and we come through later on into the lap, a very quick abrupt jump. I need to figure out how to do those much smoother. And we've now got Max Verstappen on our tail. So we've already had a mini battle with Lewis. We're going to come onto the back straight with Max Verstappen in, very much filling our mirrors. But you know, we do have some straight line speed in this car. If we go up into rich mix, we can more or less battle with the best of them. It's just you can't run in rich mix all the time. And he's going to get us with DRS. We're going to pull in behind him into his slipstream. The braking zone comes up very quickly here, but I reckon if I pull inside, slam on the brakes, I can just about take that position back as we come through the hairpin. And if it wasn't for the fact that we just don't have the aero package right now, I could have kept this battle going with him for a while. Like, it's really very much our aero package is what's holding us back as the pit window opens. And I started to think, should we maybe come in? See, he tries to come up the inside of turn 1, very much gets his elbows out, big push. I tried to switch back on him, but he just closed the door too quickly, and that was my one opportunity to keep pace with Verstappen, because over the rest of the lap he can really open up the taps. He's got a lot of corners that are very well suited to that Red Bull car. Doesn't necessarily have the power to pull away from us on the straights, but get him in a corner and we've lost him. We don't have the cornering ability just yet to keep up with him, so we have to start to really be thinking about when do we come in. You can see the skies aren't really greying. If it was going to start to rain to a point where we would really have issues,
May see some rain. ETA is about
and then I get the ETA is 15 minutes, which is 10 laps away. There's 5 to go, so I decided to box this lap, get onto that set of softs, see where we come out and see just what we can do as we skip straight to the pit stop. You'll see a bunch of cars just let go behind us. A few cars were closing in. Not a smooth pit entry. I never get this pit entry right. I can get the track right. I can't get the pit entry right at any given point. We're going to come into the pit lane and very much hope that we can come out at least somewhere useful. We're not going to come out with in a points position with 5 to go. We are going to come out on a set of much faster soft tyres, as you can see. 2.2 stop from the boys. Really good work. And we're going to come out here with Romain Grosjean. Look on the minimap closing up on the left hand side. I didn't see this at the time, and look how close he came to just taking us out. I kind of had to take a slight bit of evasive action coming out there, because it was one of those things where it didn't register he was coming. It didn't register when he came close to me, but just as he got, I kind of reacted a bit late to things. I was like, oh, I should stay out of his way. But really took me by surprise coming through the first corner. It's a really tricky pit exit there. Grosjean, you'd think he'd have been told on the radio I was coming out of the pit lane, and that he'd have given like a slightly wider berth. That you'd think Jeff would have said there was someone coming. Maybe I've been spoiled. I've been playing iRacing a lot recently, trying to get my times up. The videos coming soon of iRacing, I'm sure. But yeah, just so close to taking out our front wing as we left the pit lane, and now we just have to hunt down Grosjean on these fresher tyres. Lap 10 as we come through onto the back straight. I always think that should be a stand full of people there. I don't understand why that's there. That structure. We're onto the back straight. We're in DRS range, and we should make short work of Romain Grosjean coming up through this corner, because he doesn't have the power. He's got a Ferrari powered car. We're on fresh, much softer rubber, better grip, and we have made the turn in our favoured hunting ground, that is the hairpin. Jeff is happy with the pass, and now we can start to chase down Tonio Giovinazzi. Kimi Räikkönen is still behind us, by the way. Lance Stroll finally through the pit cycle did make it up into 14th, but he should really be competing with points in the Racing Point car. But Daddy's money cannot possibly buy you track position. Can buy you a fast car, but you've got to put it there on the Saturday. And something's gone wrong and he's not pulled it off. But we are pulling through. We're pulling away from Romain Grosjean. You can see that Tonio Giovinazzi is ahead of us, and we are going to try some very sort of aggressive straight line. Some aggressive turn pulls out of corners to get in a straight line as soon as possible to lay the power down, which is kind of a thing I do. It doesn't always work, but sometimes, especially on this track, if you can get in a straight line as quickly as possible going through that turn and get the power on, you really can gain some time. But we're putting in our best laps up. You see we've got green sector. We're 1.4 down on our best time of the race. To be expected, switching to softs on low fuel. We've still got a little bit of excess fuel to play with, which we are going to make use of as we try and chase down Antonio Giovinazzi in this next couple of laps. So we've gone to rich mix. We're not going to get in DRS range, but it shouldn't make a lot of difference to us. We should start just catching up, going down this back straight, just in a quick burst of rich mix. As you can see, we come to the hairpin. He's got a very slow. The AI always seems to have a very slow entry in there. We got it down to half a second behind him, from a second behind. Just through that hairpin, we've gained half a second. Coming out into the pit straight, and we're in DRS range now. There is no danger. We're going to come up into turn 1. We're increasing our gap on the car behind by a second a lap, says Jeff. You see we're right up behind him in the snow, almost pushing him through. I had to work so hard not to run into the back of him, because again, this is another corner the AI seems to be very slow going through, unusually slow going through. You can really gain a lot of time on them going through there as the player, but we come through here into, I guess it's turn 4. I always forget the corner numbers here at China. Again, so close to just taking him out, so close to just pushing him through the corner, losing a wing. Really just that battle between trying to get as much push out the car as we can, trying to avoid that wash from the back of his car, trying to avoid running into the back of him, which would be so easy to do through that section because he's so slow through that first couple of sectors. But it's really on the back straight here we've really got to push through and take him, because we've got essentially 2 laps to push on, try and take Lance Stroll ahead of us. So we need to clear Giovinazzi here, really need to push clear Giovinazzi here. With hindsight, I should have dropped the fuel mix as I was chasing him through there. It would have meant I had to brake less to avoid running into the back of him. Had a bit more fuel to play with for the chase on Stroll. We've got DRS open, a little bit of fuel to play with, but we shouldn't need to use it as we come into the hairpin again. It's always passes on the hairpin. We've done well to make the hairpin there to get things happening. 2 laps of fuel to go, and now it is time for us to push on and try and cut that 2.7, 2.8 gap to Stroll as we cross the line. And we've got 2 laps to do it. 2 laps to do it on semi-used soft rubber versus medium rubber against a car that's not quite as good as ours, but is held up a little bit with Gasly ahead. I don't know who that is sat ahead of Gasly. I think it might be Magnussen sat just ahead of him. And we get the radio from Jeff. Rain is imminent. It came a little bit too late for our race. We come on to the final lap here. We're sort of essentially a lap further on. We've cut the gap ahead to 1.7. We can see Magnussen ahead of Stroll. Gasly has got past him. We're going to keep an eye on the road ahead of us though, because as much as we are trying to catch Lance Stroll, you can very much see he is going to go for a move at the earliest available opportunity. He is starting to really hound Magnussen for what is essentially just P13. It's not a points paying position, but I guess it all works out towards the end of the season as Valtteri Bottas, as expected, comes through to win the Grand Prix. We're coming through now into the final sector, and Lance Stroll really pushing Magnussen through here. You can see already he is going to get Magnussen, whose tyres must be completely shot. He is going to get Magnussen on the back straight, full power, waiting for the DRS zone to open. I've gone to rich mix as well, trying to just catch up, keep pace with Stroll and Magnussen as they battle. You can see Stroll has gone for the pass of Magnussen. We're coming into the hairpin, and I thought about going for a dive bomb. I was just a little bit too far away, narrowly avoided losing the front wing. Got within touching distance, but sadly that is all she wrote, and it is going to be a P15 at the checkered flag as the rain starts to fall as we cross the line. I feel like another couple of laps and I'd have had him, but sadly it was not to be, and P15 is the absolute best we can do. But we have won driver of the day for a net gain over the weekend of essentially 2 positions, because we should have started in 17th.
A performance to be proud of from our Chinese Grand Prix winners today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So a really good win for the Merc boys. 1-2 with Max Verstappen completing the top 3, the podium. A good race for us. I felt like it went about as well as it could have done.
Now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to the rookie. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So another good win then for Valtteri Bottas. He's doing very well this season. He might be our championship winner unless things change dramatically. You can see Tatiana there finishing in 20th. Danny Ricciardo with the DNF. I forgot to show you the DNF actually for Danny Rick. I didn't see it on track. It was largely unspectacular. But yeah, 99 points off the championship lead with 4 points in the bag. We're sitting 7th in the constructors. Valtteri Bottas 43 points ahead of everyone else in the championship, as Claire wants to ask questions.
Enjoy that. You made it look easy. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
I mean, there was no struggle, Claire. I just really pushed. That's all I could do.
You had a bit of contact today. Who was at fault there?
Me and Kimmy are racers. None of us are going to give any quarter to the other. So no problems there at all.
Comments about the collisions?
It was tough controlling the car sometimes. We need to upgrade the aero package a little bit, but we'll get it done. It's just trying to manage the distance between other cars, Claire.
Appreciate your time.
Well, there's nice words from Claire there. She appreciates our time. Kimi Räikkönen looks thoroughly unimpressed that we've managed to beat him in our rivalry. It's this little look here, just looks here, gives it a little sniff, like, why am I stood here with this guy? Who is he? Why is he here? We've got a good acclaim boost though. Tatiana is heading for level 5 acclaim, which is going to make her way more expensive when we renew her contract. But we're thoroughly into level 5 on the acclaim lines as well. We've got 120,000 through from our sponsors for having no DNFs, and I've somehow cost us 50,000 with damage deductions, but that's fine because Tatiana did no harm to her car, and we've got 2.7 million in the bank. And I think, guys, that's probably a good place to wrap it up. You can see next time out we are going to Zandvoort. Having had that experience in the Red Bull, I don't like Zandvoort. I think it's going to be really tricky. I think we're going to be in trouble, but we'll make it work. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been Chasing Laney. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and to share this with all your friends. It's also Chasing Laney on all the social media, so please go and give me a follow there if you can. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.